Hi everyone. So we're going to start a new topic, which is homeostasis. So today's lesson is just going to be looking at what even is homeostasis and a little bit of basic background knowledge you're going to need that you can then build on when we talk further down the topic. So the first question is, what does homeostasis mean? Stasis is all about keeping things stable or constant. So the stasis part of the word is talking about constant, and the homeo part is in this instance referring to the internal conditions inside you. So homeostasis is about keeping everything inside you at a constant level, because you can't go around having your temperature suddenly go really high or really low, because that's going to damage your cells, it's going to damage your enzymes. So you have to keep your temperature constant. Same with the amount of water in your body. You need to make sure that your blood contains a certain amount of water. If it has too much or too little, cells will be damaged and essentially you're going to end up dead. So homeostasis is about controlling your internal conditions. So let's write a note on that. So a better word for control is regulation. So regulation, which basically means control, of internal means inside. Let's put that in brackets as well. Conditions. Okay, so homeostasis is the regulation or control of your internal conditions, and the reason, so quite often this would be a 2 marker in an exam, so that would be like 1 mark. The second mark is about why do we need to do this. We need to maintain our internal conditions so that we've got the best conditions for your body to function. Okay, so we need, the reason that we regulate internal conditions is so that we can maintain optimum. Optimum basically means best. So we want to maintain the optimum or best conditions for function. So your body will only function correctly if the internal conditions have been maintained at their optimal levels. The reason this is really, really important, so why? Because enzymes need these optimum conditions. So enzymes function well. Okay, so homeostasis, maintaining a constant internal conditions so that we've got them at their optimum level so that your enzymes will function correctly. And if we don't do that, you're stuffed. Okay, so things that we need to maintain, there are basically 3 examples that you need to know. So 3 examples. First one we've already mentioned is body temperature. So we need to maintain body temperature. We need to maintain blood glucose or blood sugar concentrations. And the third thing we need to maintain is water levels. Okay, so within your body, things that you need to know that you maintain are your body temperature, which we maintain at 37 degrees. I think you probably know that, 37 degrees C. Your blood glucose concentration, your water levels, they must all be maintained. Okay, so what do we need to know about homeostasis? Is it something you have to think about? Do we go, oh gosh, feeling a bit warm, I'll just sweat a bit so that I can cool myself down? No, we don't do that, do we? So the point is that the responses are automatic. Okay, so in homeostasis, the responses are automatic. You don't have to think about warming up or cooling down. You don't have to think about secreting insulin to control your blood sugar level. It just happens automatically. And there are two different systems controlling that. It's partly controlled by chemicals. Okay, the chemicals that are in your body that are controlling things are hormones. And within this topic, we will look a lot more deeply at hormones and what they do. So partly you've got chemicals, hormones, controlling your body temperature, your blood glucose, etc., etc. And partly it's to do with nerves. Okay, so you've got hormones and you've got nerves, and those are the two systems that are automatically controlling homeostatic mechanisms within your body. Okay, so the last little bit is just to look at the three parts to a control system. Okay, so these control systems in your body involving chemicals, hormones, and nerves have basically got three parts. So the control systems include there's an L there, sorry everyone. So the control systems include basically three parts. So this isn't going to work so well on my book. You've essentially got three sections. So I've basically split my page up. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Okay? So, Section 1, all of these control systems include receptors. Okay? So receptors are basically cells that can detect a stimulus. So receptors are cells, and they detect a stimulus. Now, you may have not heard of that word before. So receptors are cells, that's fine. They detect a stimulus. A stimulus basically is a change in the environment. Okay, so a stimulus is a change in the environment. So, for example, things in the environment that might change might be light levels. And which receptor detects light? It's your eye. Something else in the environment that might change might be temperature. What detects temperature? Your skin. You know this. If you touch something, it feels hot. Okay? So, just to summarise then, a receptor is the first part of a control system. Receptors are cells. That's really important because sometimes you think they're like this strange mythical thing called a receptor. It's just a type of cell that detects a stimulus. What is a stimulus? A stimulus is a change in the environment, and here are two examples for you. Okay? That receptor then passes info on to a coordination centre. So coordination centre. So you have got coordination centre, which receives information from receptors. The three examples that they like to talk about that you need to know of coordination centres in your body, the most obvious one is your brain, your spinal cord, and also less obviously your pancreas. So all of these three coordination centres will receive information from receptors and go, what do I need to do with it? So what they do is they receive and process information. So coordination centres receive and process the info. Okay, so they go, gosh, I've just received an impulse from the receptors in the skin telling me that it's really, really hot. Now I need to do something about this. What shall I do? I think I'll ask the sweat glands to produce sweat. So they're basically coordinating what's going on. Receive the information, process it, and then make something happen. So the final part of this system are the effectors. Okay, so the coordination centre passes info to effectors. And the effectors, basically, there's two examples you need to know about. Muscles are examples of effectors, and glands are examples of effectors. And they do the doing. So they respond to information from the coordination centre and they restore the optimum conditions. Okay, so if we write that down. Okay, so they respond to restore optimum conditions. So the example that we had before, let's just run that through quickly. Your receptors, which are cells that detect a stimulus. Let's imagine we're talking about skin cells. They're detecting that the temperature is too high. They pass information to the coordination centre, which might be in your brain, which receives that information and goes, need to do something about this. You're too hot. I'll pass some information on to the effector, which in this case might be a sweat gland, and the sweat gland will produce sweat, which will cool you down and bring your body back to optimum conditions. Okay, so you've now got a summary, I'm sorry, you can't see the whole of mine, of the kind of introduction to homeostasis. I'd like you please to make sure you've got that copied down, and I would like you to try and recreate it without looking at it. Okay, please make sure you're referring to the PowerPoint for other stuff that you need to do. Stay safe, everyone.